So we are leaving Charlotte, and honestly, we never thought we would, because after years of renting, saving, and planning, we finally realized that what we wanted for a family just doesn't exist in the city anymore. So now I'm speaking to you. If you're feeling overwhelmed by rising prices, maybe the hustle of city life, or wondering if homeownership is even possible right now, this story is for you, no matter where you're from or where you want to live. Even if you don't live in the Carolinas or don't even know where that is, this can definitely help you in just learning what our story was and how we got here. And we are James and Madeline Lanius, and we help people just like you every single week buy, sell, or invest in the lovely Charlotte, North Carolina, and Upper South Carolina, like Fort Mill, Rock Hill, and everywhere in between. So if that's you, I want you to pause and go ahead and take a picture or save my number that is on the screen right now, or go and just give me a call or a text right now if you have any real estate questions. I love connecting with people from my YouTube channel. Super cool to connect that way and help people that way. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started and dive into our story and how we got to the point where we decided to leave Charlotte. All right, so I just want to start by sharing pieces of our story and journey and what our first 3 years of marriage looked like in terms of where we've lived and in terms of real estate and what we bought and what we've rented. So basically we just rented for the first year of marriage. We got married May of 2022. Made the most sense for us. Didn't have money for a down payment or anything, so we decided to do that.
Just us two. You don't need something huge anyway.
Yeah, it was just us two. Didn't have any kiddos yet. That was May 2022, and we rented an apartment in Charlotte, and that was near Matthews, Mint Hill area, and we really enjoyed our time there. I mean, it was a nice location. We were really close to downtown Charlotte. We're really close to downtown Matthews.
Close to my family.
Yeah, we're really close to our family.
Friends and stuff.
Yeah, so it was a really good time, and we, did that for a year. We were near a lot of parks and disc golf places and all kinds of stuff. The rent was climbing fast. I mean, it was not cheap for what we got there. So then after...
Let's be real. The apartment complex was not that great.
Yeah, I remember I used to go for walks there every night, and it used to make Madeline nervous if we go on walks because there were quite a few gunshots and stuff we heard here and there. So it definitely wasn't like the safest. It wasn't the worst, but it's Charlotte, so you're going to get some of that. But yeah, long story short, after a year of living there, we decided to go ahead and move to Fort Mill, South Carolina, which that's in York County, just to the south of Charlotte. And basically we decided to move there, and we still love Fort Mill. It's super nice, really quiet compared to a lot of the places in Charlotte. Better schools, even though we don't have school-age kids yet, but
yeah.
Definitely safer. It was really nice being
Very safe.
Yeah, I mean, what are some of the things you like about Fort Mill?
Yeah, I mean, I think I like this was safe. I think the area that we lived in, like, super accessible. I mean, we lived literally like 5 minutes from Walmart and Aldi and Earth Fair. I mean, Earth Fair is right across the road. There's just so much to do, so that's really fun. You never get bored. It's a good look close by.
Yeah.
Our doctor is right there.
Yeah, it's still pretty busy though. I mean, it's not like it's that much different than Charlotte in terms of that traffic.
People are moving down.
Yeah, and busyness. It's also not cheaper. It's just as expensive for rent. I mean, we paid more for rent at Fort Mill than Charlotte, so it's comparable, but it was nicer for the last 2 years we've lived there, just to have a place to kind of settle down and stuff.
Yeah, it was literally perfect for the time of life that we were in, and then when we had her, just her being a baby, it was perfect for us. But now she's getting older, and she's getting bigger, and eventually maybe if we have more kids, we definitely need something bigger in an apartment.
Yep, this is a challenge navigating
over all these routes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm trying to stuff in poison ivy.
Yeah. But basically during this time, we, tried to save up. We tried to work hard and, prepare and plan. Of course, we had our baby that we're holding now at this location. So it was a big change and a big shift, but, yeah. But in the end, we really enjoyed Fort Mill. We really like it. But there's a reason that we are deciding to leave and move. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about why we decided to wait to buy rather than, buy our first year, second year of marriage or something. So first of all, we were trying to save up a down payment and, get enough income to be able to do it. But secondly, when you're buying your first home, or really when you're buying a home at all and you haven't owned one for 3 years, you can get this thing called a first-time home buyer loan, which...
In our case, we haven't owned at all, so...
Yeah, because we've never owned a home before. So we basically could have done this where we only would have had to put down 3% on our home and, 3% on the total loan value. But that's, when you do that, you have to pay this thing called mortgage insurance, which is just a killer. It's like anywhere between $150 to $400 a month extra, and it just goes to nothing, basically. So I'm a real estate agent, so I know of that, and I was like, I really do not want to pay that. It would have ended up being like 2-3 grand extra a year. It just goes to the insurance company basically. So I was like, if I can avoid that for 3 years and then buy, and then we can, you know, get in a situation to put 20% down. That's the ideal scenario. So that's what we decided to do, and you know, it would have added a ton of money a month. It was a hard choice, I'd say, to keep waiting and keep renting because you know, friends were buying homes.
Yeah, it does feel a little kind of like you're left out.
And you know, also we wanted more space and kind of a place to make our own. I think it was hard to
decorate, paint.
Yeah. Couldn't really customize.
Breaks down.
Didn't really have much of a yard. Couldn't really like build long relationships with neighbors or anything. But yeah, mortgage insurance just costs way too much, and you know, I really wanted to be able to put down at least 20% so we don't have to pay that.
Yeah.
And we weren't trying to be fancy, you know, renting for 3 years. We just didn't want to pay for something that didn't benefit us. So with that being said,
all in the Lord's time.
yes. So yeah, if you personally have ever considered leaving the city, if you already did, please go ahead and drop a comment below. We want to hear your story. Just love to hear where you're from, what your journey experiences, and I'm sure everyone watching this video would love to hear too, because you know, collective experiences equal, you know, knowledge and greater understanding, and helps us all to learn, because you know, hearing others' situations and circumstances and stories might be able to help you or apply to you when you're looking to buy a home or move someday. Also, be sure to stick around until the end, because in a few minutes we're going to share what we've learned through this crazy process of buying a home, renting. And hopefully that'll help you when you're doing the same on your journey, whether it's buying your first home or maybe second home or third home. So let's move on. Moving on to the next section is how we found the city we're going to move to next, which is York, South Carolina. And I don't remember, no, it was actually for a real estate coaching program I was in. We were doing we had to do 5 home previews every single week. And I just decided to take Madeline and Roshana, because she had just given birth to Roshana, and we went on different.
She was a couple months old at that point.
Yeah, I guess
3 or 4.
3 or 4 months.
Yeah,
And we basically went to different cities across and around Charlotte, and just previewed homes in different places. I had never been to York personally, but yeah, one day we happened to decide to preview 5 homes in York, South Carolina, and I think we just instantly fell in love.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we, I think, looked at a house there, walked around, especially because we looked at a house that we could see ourselves living in, we walked around the downtown. It's just, at least personally, I feel like I was overwhelmed by such a sense of peace, and just I genuinely enjoyed being there. They had such cute shops. Everybody was so nice. Just everything about it. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a breath of fresh air, I think.
Yeah.
Because Madeline has lived in Charlotte her entire life. I've lived in Charlotte 6 years, and then I'm used to more of the, I guess, laid back ness of the Midwest where I'm from. So I don't know. I think we were just both looking for something a little bit new and more of a breather, I think. So York was kind of that, and we went there one day and toured some homes there. Went through the downtown. We went to eat at Garden Cafe, which was really good.
That was really
They made Madeline
perfect day.
Yeah, they made Madeline a custom meal because she was having gallbladder issues, couldn't eat fat at the time. So it was still a really good meal for not cooking it with anything, basically. So it was just a really cool experience. We instantly fell in love. That was either a year ago, about a year ago,
summertime or something. Yeah.
So yeah, it was also the first time I felt like we could afford the homes we were looking at. Right, I actually remember that. It was the first time I felt like we could afford the type of home we wanted in a good location. And another major factor in this is we're starting to see some new builds that were really pretty inexpensive.
Yeah.
I was amazed at how cheap new build homes there were. And upon doing some investigating, I found out that because the big builders like D.R. Horton and Meritage Homes started communities in York, that it actually made it really hard for those smaller builders to compete. Thus, a lot of these homes that were new builds that aren't those big builders were just sitting on the market forever, and prices were dropping and stuff. So we got ours at a really good deal.
Yeah.
And we ended up, I think originally it was listed for $285, $290, and I think we are going to close at $255. I can say this now because we're not going to post this till after. But
true.
But yeah, basically we're going to close at that, and that's a really good deal for a new build home. I'm in a 3-bed, 3-bath, 2-story.
And if you live in Charlotte, that price of that same home, the size, new build in Charlotte would be what? Probably $400.
Yeah, it's probably $300, $400, $500, depending on which part of Charlotte and stuff. But so yeah, that was another major factor in why we decided to move to York, and we get to raise our family there now. And
it just felt really family friendly, very kind of geared towards families. It didn't feel super crowded.
Yeah, we were walking along the downtown. I think it was a pastor or someone that we passed the old movie theater there, and I guess they host movie nights every Monday or something. So it's just like that small town feel that we really enjoyed, and ready to get out of the insanity of city life a bit. So now let's go ahead and talk about why we're leaving the city of Charlotte and Fort Mill and getting outside of Charlotte. And just FYI, York is only, what, 35 minutes outside of Charlotte, so it's not like we're moving across the country or anything.
Yeah, it's just west, basically, of Fort Mill and Rock Hill.
Yeah, so it's going to be still a pretty short commute. But, overall, when we're in Charlotte and Fort Mill now, we enjoyed the energy of it. We enjoyed the location of it. We enjoyed being close to grocery stores and lots of things you do all the time. We, of course, love...
I don't think we really did too many of them, though.
Yeah, not a ton. We weren't like crazy party people, but it started to feel like too much, just the traffic and different things going on and whatnot. So high prices as well. Everything's just higher priced in the city and near it, and everything is just moving at a fast pace, which is fine. It's good for work, obviously good for real estate, but for living, we wanted something a little quieter and chiller. Fort Mill was a bit better, but still crowded, of course, and homes were getting out of reach. We just couldn't afford the home we wanted in Fort Mill, but we can in York, of course.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just started creating more space. I think the quietness of small town life, and you can't really DoorDash peace and quiet. Sometimes you just have to move to it. And that's kind of what we did. And it was hard sacrificing, proximity to family and friends, but I think it's well worth it. We just have to make some adjustments in life. And I think that's sometimes what you have to do to, invest in you and your family and your future. So yeah, we're excited. We feel at peace. We feel ready to move. And that's kind of where we're at. All right, well, now we want to go and share what we've learned throughout our experience and some tips that might help you to wherever you're at on your journey of buying a home, wherever you're at. It doesn't have to be in Charlotte. So yeah, if you're feeling priced out overall, you're not alone.
Yeah.
I would encourage you, if you are, to just expand your search a little bit. Working with buyers every single day, I've come to find that sometimes we have this ideal, perfect home in our head of what we want and exactly the location we want and all of these things. And kind of similar to when you're looking for like a partner or a spouse, you're dating and you just really like have this exact type of person or house you want, but it's not realistic, right? Usually we get most of what we want in a person or a house.
Compromise in some areas.
Yeah, and a lot of others.
Some less important areas.
Yeah, and a lot of things you can work on. Like, the house we're moving to, it isn't like 100% exactly what we're looking for, but I'd say it's like high 90%.
Definitely.
It's most of what we're looking for, and that's what you look for when you're looking for anything in life, right? Not everything's gonna be perfect, but you get something that's, in the 8 to 9 out of 10 star range, and that's what you do. So that's kind of what we did. And another thing to do is to not let trendy areas fool you, because having an amazing school district, coffee shops, Instagrammable coffee shops, and places, it's not everything. There's more important things, including investing in your future. And sometimes you have to work up to get into a place where you can buy your perfect home. That checks all the boxes, or at least 99.99% of the boxes. So yeah. Another thing is I think small towns are growing a ton. Places like York, Chester, Lancaster, places like Concord and Kannapolis, North Carolina, even Gastonia and Locust, North Carolina. Tons of those places are just growing a ton. And I would encourage you to look into some of those small towns because sticker prices are much lower. You're not gonna have as much of an entry barrier, and you might be able to get a lot more home for your dollar. So yeah, I would encourage you to just rent, save, then strike and buy a home when the time is right. Not every deal is about timing. Sometimes it's about finding the place that fits your family's lifestyle. Sometimes it's worth adding an extra 35 minutes to your commute.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays when you can mostly work from home, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You can't really beat doing that. And there's not really a perfect time to buy. Interest rates are not always going to be perfect, but there are smart ways to do it. I encourage you just to, get with a pro, whether it's me in my market or, whoever it is in another market. Just get with someone who knows the market and knows the best time to buy, and a good lender. For example, we were kind of leaning towards we weren't leaning towards not buying, but we were wondering if we wouldn't be able to buy because it was the end of March and our lease was gonna renew at the end of April. And we were like, well, it's already at the end of March. We probably don't have time to close on a home. But thankfully I have a really good lender. Shout out to Mike Pickwitz. And we're gonna close in like 22 days, which is super fast.
So like we've been saying pretty much the whole video, we're actually gonna close on our very first home this week. Well, technically this weekend.
Yeah, it is probably.
Yeah, and through our home buying journey and search the past months, I don't think we would have thought this is where we would have bought a house. I think deep down inside we knew, but it's not in Charlotte, and it's not in Fort Mill. It's not in Rock Hill either. So it's York, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely not where, we thought we would buy, where we expected.
Yeah.
I think if anybody asked me, I would have been like, yeah, I want to be more in Charlotte, really just because I want to be closer to my family, not because I really like Charlotte. But York is such a beautiful place, and we truly like, we're not just buying a home there because it's like, oh, it's just cheap, it's just near Charlotte. Like, we love there. It's where we're meant to be right now. It's just such a good place overall for our family.
Yeah, so if you're feeling stuck in your journey, wherever you're at, you know, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed or just unsure about buying a home, you know, we've been there. We've been at the place where we were like, are we ever going to be able to get the home that we want?
That's really good.
In the location you want or we wanted? And, you know, we're here. And so our store is just one example of many of how buying a home could still be possible. We asked for closing costs, and that paid for us to get basically a interest rate lower for the first 2 years, called temporary rate buy down, and allowed us to have a cheaper monthly payment for the first 2 years, which is super cool. And those are things you can do if you just know how to leverage things correctly and negotiate and make a good offer. So yeah, all in all, if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, especially if you're trying to figure out what's next, you know, we'd love to chat and connect with you. We help people just like you every single week navigate this crazy market and just on the real estate journey in general, and just to discover more about our local area and market, the Carolinas, and all of our contact info is in the description below. So yeah, other than that, if you found this video valuable, go ahead and push the like button. Yeah.
Subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more videos like this.
Yes, and many others. We do all kinds of videos. So other than that, we hope you have a blessed day. Thank you for watching and look forward to connecting with you soon.